Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Victoria 2. This is a special bonus episode which is brought to you by Intilisan555. It is his support on patreon.com which makes it possible for me to make these extra videos, which is great, I think, frankly. So if you would like to see some extra videos as well, head down to patreon.com, see which level of support suits you. With that said, let's continue our endeavors, and I probably can't. No. But let's still increase our relations with these guys. So, I forgot to save after the grand victory of last time, but, well, I'm back, and luckily I still got Bohemia and Moravia from Austria, which is now number 14, so they're probably going to drop out of great power status relatively soon. They didn't have that many factories to begin with anyway, but still. Yeah, let's we do have quite a bit of cash as well, so let's take a look at that infrastructure. We definitely need to expand all those rail lines everywhere. I'm still looking. Well, I probably cannot influence these countries anymore because we have a truce with them, and that will probably take quite a while, so I can't imagine seeing these flow to Germany itself. And then, of course, we'll be having a problem because, well, I'm not saying that they can form Germany because I believe they do need Bavaria in there as well. Like, they actually do need all of these to be in their sphere, which they cannot do. They are likely to go at war with me at some point, but, well, to that I am saying not today. At any rate, let's get rid of these over bought units, I suppose, and then I'm just gonna keep these guys here until I buy the rest of the army. So we currently have one of these. I will have at least one engineer, one artillery, one engineer, one artillery here, and then I need at least 3 infantry. And I can start working on a new unit with the rest of these. Those from Africa. I still don't actually own a port, so there's nothing I can do here. And since I can no longer go through Austria, I'm kind of in a bit of a pickle. I will still build these guys for the moment, just regular infantry, so you know they can deal with any I don't want to say partisans, it's rebels, right? It's been a while since I played this. With rebels, indeed. So let's take a look. What do most of the people want? Probably wealth as it is there, or gerrymandering. No, they want better voting there. So based on wealth instead of weighted wealth. So that's only the middle and upper classes may vote, but that's better than the rich vote also having a lot there. So let's see how we're going to do with cash. Probably pretty well. I can drop this down back to 10 as I generally do. Increase military spending. There's no need for me to increase those tariffs. We are actually conservative, but we'll get a lot of population coming in this way, which I do really like. Württemberg. Well, I can't actually do anything in Württemberg, I think. I'm not sure, actually. Well, we're banned. Till when? 13th of August 1960. Yeah, sure. That's all well and fine. Alright, let's increase our relations with a bunch of other countries that I want to have an alignment with as well. We're very high on the infamy now because we did take 2 places, but I can actually give up on a few let's see, where are we? It's a Bavarian Rhineland is where I should give up. There we go. That should be better, and Bohemia does have a gazillion people in there anyway. So that should be pretty good. That should also allow me to get a bunch more soldiers and stuff. That's at least the way I see it. So we're at a comfortable 5th. I don't know why these are still here. I'll gladly pay for them, but why do they... I mean, I can't build railroad there. I guess I can build it in these places. Is this mine? No. Let's expand this for sure. No cash. There we go. That should cover all the rails. I'm actually... Embassy is banned everywhere. Okay, well. Not in Krakow, they aren't. Wow. Oh, we can humiliate. No, thanks. I'd rather get the prestige. Even now, I'd rather get that. Alright, so we're making a ton of money as well, so that is at the very least good. That will also allow me East Hausaland. Oh, I also have East Hausaland. Okay. Sure, that's looking great. So there shouldn't be no projects relating to that. And then I will upgrade these as they do go over 40%, of course, as I used to do before. I do think even with conservative, yeah, I'm not allowed to build factories, but I'm allowed to expand them, which is fine enough already for me at least. So that's looking well and fine. Krakow. Is there... Oh, the Russians are. Okay, so let's just stop. The Russians are probably still going to kick me out, but well, we'll see. Mostly liberal for the upper house, 49.9%. That is quite a lot, actually. Let's increase relations. How are relations with Russia? Actually, not even at 200, so let's build those up. I'm quite sure they don't actually like my infamy. That's probably a big problem in that regard for them. Great, so I guess they want gerrymandering the most at this moment. Yeah, they do. So instead of ruling party harassing people into voting for them, the boundaries are only modified for electoral purposes. So the votes for the ruling party are worth more, but that's still better than actually bullying people. So let's actually see here, because I actually only need these 3 for now to go down. Let's send these over to the side, because we're actually building a new unit there. I'm actually looking for more infantry on this first one. Seems like we can already build a bunch more units, which I'm also quite happy about. So this is 2 artillery, 1 engineer, and I'm building these. Let's just build 2 of these and can build any artillery there. They'll be fine. How are we on these? Upgrade that for the moment, and that's about it. We're not doing super great on factories. We're actually number 9 at the moment, but hey, it's not too bad. So we're all still banned there. So no real new stuff. And I'm just looking to rebuild my army here as well. Just look a little bit more powerful in the grand scheme of things, especially against Germany, that is also allied with Britain. Things can get pretty dicey. I'm definitely looking for some sort of war to erupt between Germany and France, since Germany still needs also Alsace-Lorraine. That's going to be a lot of militancy in general. Yeah. Wow, okay. Their beliefs are important. So again, we have a ton of money here coming in. I think. I mean, this is a difference of 17, so that's okay. Most of this is from tariffs. Let's lower those tariffs to 15. Well, let's keep them at 20. So that still means that I think more people should be coming in eventually, and it should be good for business anyhow. Let's upgrade. Like, lower tariffs should mean that the trading in general will be going pretty well. Montenegro. Oh, let's get a bit more of that prestige. We do need that anyway. I mean, we are number 5 right now, but I think... I'm quite sure they would not give me military access. How bad is it? 69? I can probably work that up, actually. Maghreb artillery, huh? Let's actually get the Hussar. Because why not? I can't ship those units. Papal States. Yeah, sure. Papal States is inconsequential that way. Funnily enough, they're indeed part of France, so that I guess. Let's see. Always try to become 5% more liberal, or yeah. So it's good to see the classics. Yeah, I definitely do not want to lose some prestige there. That would be a very big problem. So if we are to take a look, technically I can release 2 nations, so Tunis and Algeria, for a 10 infamy drop here. That could potentially see me at least take another, region of Germany, technically. We'll see how that goes. We're definitely not as strong as the North German Federation by a long shot yet. Anyway, weighted universals 0.39. This is 0.11 for non-secret. So let's go for weighted universal. Everyone is allowed to vote, but the rich men's votes are worth more. So then you can see that poor vote is a lot smaller than rich and middle vote. But at least they do get to vote, so that's looking pretty good. And with biology done, empiricism, we're already way past that expiration date, but taking care of biologism also took very, very long. So I'm definitely looking for more of those research points right now. Alliance offer from Serbia. I mean, they're very, very weak. They're usually within the Russian sphere, or looking to get into the Russian sphere itself. How are they doing currently? They're cordial, friendly with the Ottomans. How are we doing with the Ottomans there? We should actually be buddies as well. But they are number 7 still on great power. We are at a score of 253. USA is already at 404. So we're actually likely to drop back to 6 pretty soon, but it's not very likely we're going to outright lose. We are no match for either of those other ones, either way. We already have the Netherlands. Yeah, let's decline for now. We might get into too many alliances at that point, and that will also be cause of problems anyhow. And right now I'm not looking to do anything but just dropping the infamy. Call ally from Russia. Why is that? Who are they fighting? At war with Britain, United Kingdom. They're at war with the Ottomans? Why? French Macron, whatever. Russian liberation of Georgia. Well, I would assume that they would win. Russian Empire at France. I'm not so sure whether they would actually get back into an alliance with us if I were to not help them. So let's act as if we're going to help. That probably won't be that big of an issue any which way. I don't see the British actually take over the French, and oh, I see. They're at war with France only, so not with us. Why are they doing that? It's immediately Franco-Prussian War, so they are going to lose then. Let's lower this down. Because the Russians, they are not at war with Germany. So France is likely to lose the war against Britain and Germany. This stuff is all can be pretty confusing, and we're at war with Britain, which cannot reach us right now. It's likely that the Russians will win before the British reach me. But let's just make sure that things don't go awry here. I don't really care about how this plays out. I do want to increase my relations with Baden, obviously, but oh, so our excavation team working in the Valley of the Kings does give us a bunch of prestige, nice, and also a bit of research points. That will work out quite well. It would suit me if these guys actually were to escape. Like, I don't want them to fight the British. That will obviously take a while, but it would still be a problem if they did, and I don't see the British do any nasty landing type of thing there. I know that we're at war but with the Ottomans in this area, but we actually have a reasonably sized army. Yeah, they could go in there, but that's not really that important for us. And most important is that just the British or the Russians will win against the Ottomans, and then the Ottomans will be in a tough spot, and that's, I guess, the most important. So unfortunately, they will take Alsace-Lorraine. Overall, not particularly happy about that. We're attacking their buddies. Who are their buddies? Anyway, Britain? Okay. I might have to disband these units, actually, in order to get them back later on. Let's actually do that. It would simply not do for me to actually lose that. 2 projects. Railroads in East Houseland and Franken. Where can I build more Franken? But and East Houseland. Yeah, the Ottomans are going in there. Kind of sucks because it means that at least the railroad that I'm building will not be built while they're fighting there. I hope they don't go too far, actually. But we'll see. I mean, again, I do need the support of the Russians, so I kind of needed to join their Russian liberation. Wait a second. Why is this going so poorly? It's insane. Acquire Russian Alaska. Well, I find... Seriously. Ugh. Like, overall, I just cannot imagine that the Russians are actually still losing this. They're at 116 and they're at 35. It's like over time. Oof. Sure. Okay. This has created a serious problem. Did they just lose? Or did they get back Georgia? They did not get back Georgia. Seriously? I guess the French losing, it might have actually put such a negative modifier on it that, yeah, that is probably the case. Wow. Acquire Russian Alaska, so then the British probably, yep, they got Alaska. That's that's something. Well, sure enough. It does mean that I can once again build up that infantry. It sucks that I had to pay for it, but you know, I'm still better off at this stage. And I'll continue to work on my relations with Baden at least, or unless they already give me military access. Minus 82 now. That actually, the infamy is hurting me quite a bit there as well. Belgium wants to be buddies. Belgium not too powerful, just like the Dutch, but why not? Russia isn't the best in terms of help, I suppose, and Germany is still going to be a big problem. I would not be surprised to see the Germans attack me at some point here. I mean, there's still a chance that I could work up the ability. Like, this is a big population as well, so Western Galicia, which technically is like Austrian, but you know, it would be a stretch to also take that. Problem as well is that Österreich, as it is there, is now yeah, like I cannot take that much from Austria at this stage. Taking Slovakia is probably the most useful from Hungary, but of course they're allied with the North German Federation. They're number 25. Well, at the very least, we have non-secret ballots coming up, it seems like. Making the voters' choices non-confidential instead of gerrymandering. That's still better than what we were at before. So I will actually go and rebuild up that rail line. I'd actually never quit there. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I am still a far stretch away from actually sure, whatever. Becoming the South German Federation, but let's see. So we're also doing pretty poor in army. Let's actually start doing some, at least of those 936 researches as well. They should go pretty fast, I would think. We still need to catch up by quite a bit in general. I need one more artillery at least. So this is Africa. Well, still an artillery is probably decent there. The sweeping reforms to our party system that have been enacted during the past few years have turned our country from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. The monarch, now serving as a symbolic head of state, no longer has the power to personally control and determine the fate of the nation, but is instead forced to accept the mitigating influence of pluralism and limited democracy. Alright, we got that pretty quickly, 1862. That's pretty decent. I would say that we're looking at parties like liberal democrats. So they want pluralism. And so I would say God is dead, because I don't really want moralism, and this is just more and more and more moralism, which is definitely not something that we want. So as weird as it sounds to say, God is dead, that is practically what we're looking at here. Sure, getting a bunch of prestige. It does not matter. I mean, I'll be getting up. Now the French, they are no longer allied with the Russians. They're allied with Papals of Luxembourg, but not a whole lot else. Again, liberal democratics is limited citizenship. Interestingly enough, you would think that they would be in favor of full citizenship, but those are... those are socialist, whereas we're supposed to be liberal. I guess that's quite different. So, limited citizenship it is. Since we're supposed to be mostly liberal, not socialist, as I guess socialism in this case ultimately leads to having a communist country, not per se, but let's also increase relations with the UK. There are actually a lot of countries that I want to increase relationships with here. Although, yeah, that infamy is still a bit in the way. Yeah, sure, whatever. Being allied to the Russians here, I guess, does not help necessarily that much. I guess these must... Oh, they're in Egypt. Wow. How is this doing? 2 or 3? There will be 4 artillery at that point. That's a pretty big stack. Conservative still getting 64% of the vote, which is quite a lot. But ultimately it is good in the sense that I get to upgrade my factories there. So it does help with that. That's pretty neat. That is done. Let's go for strategic mobility as well as a 1936 technology. Since we're still way behind on military technology, that's not the most important ultimately, but it is definitely something that's let's see how bad it's now. 64. Okay. So with that infamy dropping down a little bit, I can imagine that infamy being pretty good looking later on in a while, once I liberate those countries down there. That sucks. Align. Oh. Moralist resurgence. It's funny, there's so many Sunni. So moralism is aligned. It's hard to say. Wait. Well, kind of want pluralism. So I guess they're just gonna lose militancy because I don't actually want them to become more moral like that. Sweden is aligned with Austria, but maybe it would be better if Sweden would be aligned with me as well. Sweden is actually a pretty reasonable country. Obviously, they also do want to liberate Finland, for example, and form Scandinavia. But I still also need a country like Württemberg to become buddies with me. Let's quit at the Papal States. It's just gonna ban me again anyway. Build army. That's actually pretty decent. So I need at the very least an artillery and then start working on a new unit. It seems like 442. Yeah. Build army. Then I'll be looking at another hussar as well. Not doing too great in terms of money. I wonder how that is. Oh yeah, support the business, sure. We might also get some money tax in order to make our factories do a little bit better. We're just generally... Also, this is all 1850. I really don't care about that. So let's start working at least on some 1936 technologies in terms of commerce, because we do need our factories to shine as well. If we want people to build more factories, we do rather also need to make sure that they are effective. On Baden, well, I cannot conquer Baden any rate. So there's no particular need for me to do anything there. Yeah, I can't really do anything useful at that. Wow. Okay, let's move you in here, and then once these guys pop, we finally have 2 stacks of 30,000. Oh yeah, that sucks. I'm losing 5 prestige. That's still not even close to what the Germans have. Obviously, they are 171. Currently, I'm at 52. And they're still aligned to the British, and now with Hungary too. I actually would not mind exerting some influence on Hungary. They will not likely join me, but if I can at the very least get them out of the sphere of the Germans, that would be great. Seems like Germany is investing in Württemberg quite a bit there. Wow, it's another archaeological. That's pretty sweet. Looking pretty decent, at least in that regard. And as long as we're a major or a great power, I would say that Germany might have. Yeah, they will not. As long as we're allied to Russia, they won't. But I think that as soon as we leave Russia alone, that's the moment when Russia will just go and align to France, I would think. Which is just straight up bad, and I think France generally does try to attack the North German Federation back for its territory. I might actually be able to do this once we reach high enough relations. So we'll see how Germany reacts with us doing this. It does not seem like they're very much affected by me trying to get them into my sphere, which should help. I mean, getting Hungary into my sphere definitely would make me, again, significantly stronger. And it would be a pretty great boon to my overall efforts to start dealing with the North German Federation, which obviously is very much long-term plan still. Yeah, that's why, you know, you very often have these kind of episodes where it almost seems like not a whole lot is happening, but, you know, Victoria 2 is a game that does take pretty long in general, and I'm already playing it often at max speed. I don't usually play this quickly, but since we're doing one episode a month, I do think that might be warranted to hurry up a bit. So these are all 1950 at least. Let's at least do associatonism, and then once we've done that, I will look at some factory tech some more, at the very least. Not war necessarily. Okay, well, that's probably the best I can do for Africa right now, and I don't have anything there. Yeah, let's expand those. Cannot do any over there. Seems like these guys were handling railroads pretty poorly. One thing that I do need to do, however, is expand forts everywhere as well. That will be super expensive. But if I can, I should. Not in Africa, I think. That would be a waste of money. But I think definitely over here we are looking to get that. And we'll see whether I can kick them out of their alliance. I need to get all the way to 100. So I'll remove them from the North German sphere, which is only just now starting to build up as well. Dutch conquest of Belgium Wallonia. Yeah, okay, so probably I should just not join either side, because I have no clue who might potentially win, although I would personally say that the Dutch have the better chance of it ultimately, but the I mean, the Belgians definitely have, I think, numerical advantage on land, and I think most of the power from the Dutch comes from their navy. But I cannot cross Germany anyway, so I cannot help out either side, regardless. So it's no real deal there. I might even... No, they don't like me. Oh, they have a great power. No, they don't. The fact that the Russians went bankrupt, it's not a great sign. Let's start working on that. That's actually a 1936 tech as well for the high and low pressure steam engines, yeah. Those kind of things are definitely also needed to beef up my country. In terms of numbers, we're actually doing pretty well. We have a pretty large influx of... we can sign the Geneva Convention. Not yet, though. Let's see. Let's do that, and also increase our relations with France again. I don't want this to show. What do I need? Expressionism? Yeah. So... yeah, I need to look at spheres. Let's get rid of that. I don't care about Luca. And I also don't care about comets. So I need this to get to 100, so then we'll at least have Hungary within our sphere. Seems like Germany doesn't really care that much. Now, I am personally fine with that. I don't know how Austria is doing. I could also look to get them in my sphere afterwards. So then we'll kind of form a Southern European bloc, potentially against Germany eventually, if that were to play out the way I would want it to. Why do I not see where... This is really weird. Like, I need all. There we are. So Hungary, I can add them to my sphere. And let's put it like this, because it seems like these guys don't really have that much influence anymore, and I would still like to get rid of some of that. Seems like the Russians are mildly interested, but we'll see how that goes. I also see that the Germans are not particularly interested in Austria, interestingly enough. Too many great power allies. Yeah, they already have North Germany, but at least they cannot go to war with them. And I will increase relations as well. I should be having pretty decent relations with Hungary anyhow. They're quite big and actually not... yeah, they're also quite powerful. I don't know why suddenly... oh, it's 32 out of 36. I thought 32 out of 26. I got a bit scared there. So what do I want there? So I definitely want to have an engineer and 2 infantry. Yeah, exactly. I'm losing money right now. I guess it's because my factories are doing pretty poorly that I need to work on that. But I guess again I'm working on technology that should make my factories do a little bit better over the long haul, and that's pretty important for me, keeping my great power status. I will also take a look at the reals again. Seems like there are some areas where I can still expand. Yeah, indeed. I'm surprised they're not in anybody's sphere yet. I'm also surprised that Ethiopia has not attacked Egypt yet for its territories. I can't really do a whole lot with Egypt, I think. Yeah, it's still demand concession. Whereas for them I could now technically establish a protectorate, but like it's not particularly useful to do that on Morocco. I'd rather save my infamy for other more important areas. Mostly I like assert hegemony on the Germans does not really help. Seems like the Dutch lost their war. I actually kind of want to kick out the Russians. So I'm going to discredit the Russian Empire here. And then we'll see how that goes. They might actually quit altogether, but I want to get to 100 or at least a quite high number. As with influence, I always need to really, really pay a close eye to it. In general. At any rate, I'm gonna end the video here, so I want to thank you for watching. Some interesting developments. So Austria-Hungary split in this timeline, and there's no Austria-Hungary, but there are already two separate countries. I guess that was because of the attack on Bohemia. Moravia did allow for a country like the North German Federation to step in there and say, hey, we want Hungary to be independent. Which is interesting that they would I think that is actually a good idea. Maybe I can form a block of these three countries then, trying to tackle the North German Federation at any rate. It's funny that they actually do have a port here now, and then also the Austrians, they kind of have this territory here. It seems like they're at war with the US. Why? American Sicilian War. They want to cut two Sicilies down to size. Wow, okay. Talking about an invasion of Italy. Yeah, so that happened. The Russians went bankrupt and were forced to pay their dues to, I guess, the English, which decided that they wanted to have Alaska. But the Americans still have this, and that's always so weird. That very often in this game what happens is the Americans take this part of British Columbia, but then Canada is just kind of split. But you never really see the Canadians trying to get it back or anything. Like this never happens, which is kind of weird, but oh well. Anyway, I want to give a special shout out to my Austrian Moldavia. How did that happen? Okay, that is crazy. Because that's not even supposedly. It might have been part of Austria. Oh, that's really weird. Hungary does not have a claim on it. I guess what could happen is that Romania could actually form, making Hungary a lot weaker as well. Man, things are already messed up, as they usually do get. Either way, special shout out to my Patreon supporters: Poomnaround, ToosFan555, Mandingo, Tomislav Trin, Swords, C-Data, Tabasme B. Marshall, and Dungeon Pastor. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. See you next time. And bye-bye.